so he married Daddy's sister. But before that, he had 2 girls to his first wife, and one of them was Susan, and the other one was Lil. No names there for Susan or Lil, no?
No, just...
But they wouldn't be any connection of ours, because that was, yeah. So he did have a child to Aunt Lizzie, but that child died. I think he had paralysis or something. He died young, about 11 years of age, I think. He had been to Lourdes and all that. But when did you start looking up the Boyles? Is it only when you came tired, or are you doing it in America?
No, my cousin Patty started doing all of this initially.
One of my brother's daughters started doing it about 2000.
Yeah.
And I had always wondered about stuff. I'm the only one that was really interested in being Irish.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Patty, and she started looking at stuff and found a few things. And so I started looking. And my mom left 2 photo books, but they didn't have any names on them.
Yeah.
And the niece, Patty, she had contacted...
This is my daughter, Marguerite.
Pleased to meet you.
This is John.
How are you doing? And the McGuire, is that right?
And that's Matthew. And this is Betty's son, Anthony. That's her son. And
Nice
that's
to meet
Matthew and John. No.
So this...
We're just starting now, so listen, you have to take all in because I have a bad memory.
I'm going to leave you some stuff, so I have most of this at home, and I don't need to take it home with me.
Yeah.
The Patty got contacted Margaret Jane Boyle Flate, who is the granddaughter of Margaret Jane Boyle Cassidy.
Yeah.
In St. Louis, right?
What's that?
In St. Louis?
In St. Louis. And she also contacted, there's a McGuire there. He's quite young. He's about 20 years younger. I'm 75 and he's about 55 now.
Yeah.
But he is same generation.
Well, I'm 75 too, soon. Another month or so.
And she contacted them, so I met somebody on the McGuire side, and I also met somebody on the Boyle side.
Yeah.
And she gave me some information, and just started looking.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is Cronus Church.
You can get that online.
Yeah.
But I was fiddling with the computer one day and put in Patrick Boyle, Fermanagh, and what came up was something from the Fermanagh website, or it may have been the Fermanagh website, and it had an index, and you could click the B and it'd go to the B's, and there was a Patrick Boyle and an Anne Slowey, and it listed, I think it may have listed John Boyle, would be your father, and Teresa Boyle, which is my grandmother. And that got me all excited, because here it had something, and so I was in the right area, and I just started looking. Like, this stuff is online also.
Yeah.
Fellow...
Did you do this in America now?
Just looked it up.
Pretty much everything he pulled up online from the States on the computer, and then...
This is a fellow named, whatever that is, right there, if you can read that.
Kieran Potter?
Yeah.
I think you came across him on it.
I was on that website, alright.
Yeah, he was on that website. It's only done in Clonus, I think, recently.
It is. It's just the Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
But it has.
Could your grandfather be a brother of your grandfather?
My grandfather
Was
was.
your grandfather a
What?
brother of our grandfather?
No.
Hmm?
My grandfather married your brother's sister.
You're
Eh?
Emily Boyle. We had John Boyle, who stayed here. 4 daughters went to the States. Kate Boyle went first. Nellie Boyle, or Ellen Boyle, she always went by Nellie. I figured she was Ellen, so I always searched for both. She went to the States. Both of those, Ellen Boyle got married in St. Louis, but moved to Kansas City, Missouri, clear across the state. Kate was already over there. Margaret Boyle, born 1870, came to St. Louis, and then my grandmother followed her, and she was living with Margaret. And then,
because it goes. I think it goes John Boyle, and then there was another John.
well, I'll bring that up here.
It's- we were talking with my mom last night, and she wanted to know how we were related. So I had to. My dad was explaining it, and then she was
figure it
asking
out.
me to explain it. So if you have a brother and a sister, they both have kids.
Yeah.
So we're related by being the kids' children.
Right, just
So-
your father's grandmother and my
Okay.
mother and my mother's grandfather were brother and sister.
Right.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, he seemed to have a lot of sisters that all went to America.
Correct.
There was about 4
Remember
sisters, am I
family.
right?
4 sisters.
There was Teresa, Margaret, Nellie,
and Kate.
Kate.
I can't find anything.
No
I
other.
can't find where Kate was born here, but everybody, all the other 5 children were born at Rossbrick Glebe, Townland, up by Megraville.
Oh, you don't well.
I put that in the computer last night. All right, this here.
I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Give you. Like, see on this, this is Sacred Heart, and it goes 1864, I think, or 66 to 1880. You can look at microfilm
That's amazing, isn't it?
in Belfast.
Is that the thing there that you? I put that in the computer last night.
Patrick Boyle, 26th February.
Is that the one?
He's Patrick Boyle and Anne Slowey are our great grandparents. And then Patrick Boyle, 1868, 26th February. He is my grandmother's brother. He's your grandfather's brother, and he's a brother to the other 3 women that moved to the States.
Right. All right. No. Right.
There. We'll get to another, but I wanted to show you this because you can get this off
Right,
online.
That's your grandfather's brother. All right. That's
Daddy's father's brother.
yeah. That's your.
So there's Patrick. We would have been always looking for John because Daddy was John, and
Oh,
and
Granda was John.
Done.
Granda was.
Tommy
John.
Tommy had a hard time understanding it too.
Did he listen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite a character. Tommy, I told Tommy we're cousins, and then his father and my father
Yeah,
are first cousins.
yeah.
And then his grandmother and grandfather are brother and sister. My grandmother and his grandfather are mother and sister. And then John Boyle and Anne Slowey are great grandparents.
Well, you see, I could never find out any relations to do with Daddy. But my mother had an awful lot of cousins and sisters and everything, but there was nothing I could find on Daddy, and he never talked anything. He was the youngest in the
So
family.
your mother,
Daddy's wife John Boyle's wife.
Oh,
She
Kathleen.
she was Kathleen, but she had a lot of family on her side, but we could never find, you see, Daddy's sister, Annie and Nora, they died when they were young.
Yeah.
And then Lizzie went to England and she was married to the McCaffrey, and she's dead too. And then there was a Katie, and she married Cunningham, but I never knew where she went to Cavan direction.
So you're Patrick Boyle and Anne Slowey, and we just guessed they were born about 1840. We haven't found them.
Yeah.
Then Kate Boyle was born either 1861 or 1862. There's conflict there.
Yeah.
She went to the U.S. I don't know when, but she married a Lawrence Hickey. They had a bunch of children, and like there's a Nellie.
And there's one of them called Marguerite, isn't it?
Yeah, they had
Your name?
They had Marguerite, Alice, Doris, Edward,
Martha.
And I don't know much about these. They kind of disappeared. All the women disappear, which is really bad.
Yeah.
And then
Where did they go?
John Boyle, your grandfather, married Mary Jane, which I found out is McNally. I just found that out. Then there was Roseanne, and apparently I kept looking for Rose, but she went by Anne and then Annie.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Mary Elizabeth, I guess, went to being Lizzie.
Elizabeth, yeah. You see, this is right.
And then Nora. Nora is mentioned in the letter.
Martha, she's called after Nora. She's Nora Elizabeth here. That is.
So she died 22 June 1929.
Is that when she died?
Yeah.
We didn't.
It's in the
You have
letter.
to come from America to tell us.
John Boyle. 22 June to age 26 years old.
Who sent you this letter?
This letter is from John to Margaret. And let me find the other half of it, because I just realized the other night, a night or
Might
two
be under
ago,
this, will it?
one,
Yeah.
a night or two ago, I don't think it's in here. Oh yeah, it says I wrote Emily. It says I wrote Emily, and I'm wondering why she never wrote back. Well, he wrote this in 1929, June of 29. She died in February of 1928. But I don't understand why Margaret never told him that she died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my brothers and sisters, they don't say anything. I mean, the house could burn down and you call them up and say, how's doing? No, I'm doing good.
Don't tell you what that is for it.
Won't tell you the house burned down or anybody died or anything else. But
this came from Ireland writing to tell them about it.
this came
Who was the letter from Ireland?
this came from
Who wrote
John.
the letter from
Who
Ireland?
wrote the letter?
John Boyle.
John Boyle,
your
but which
grandfather.
old Granda?
That would be our granddad.
And this I forgot to bring the first
Very
page.
good writing.
This is the end of the letter here.
Your loving brother. That's pretty good writing and everything for the times, you know, like long ago they didn't get to school, you know,
Right.
over here and that. But that would be my father's father now that wrote that letter. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Tess?
Grandfather.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, he was blind. Was he just blind in later
Oh
years?
no, he only went blind when he was old.
Was that it?
He went blind. Did Tommy tell you he went blind, my grandfather? He had trouble with his eyes, you know, like we would say glaucoma now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Macular degeneration.
Yeah.
One or the other.
You talking about that? There's nothing but that. You talking about that in your understanding?
You don't have any bother with your pressure or your eyesight?
No.
No, well, you said you were having
I'm
surgery for.
nearsighted. Well, when I go back, I'm going to have cataract
Yeah.
taken off, clear things up. Nobody has gone blind.
No, you wouldn't go blind now because they're always, we get our eyes checked regular, do you see?
Yeah.
But long ago, he would have not
Right.
been going, you know.
Same with cataract.
Yeah.
They didn't have
But
any.
Tommy, yourself, and Therese always
Yeah,
had to put drops in their eyes every day for pressure.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because our pressure, you know, your pressure should be, you know, about 10 or 11, but mine went up to 30. So I have to put drops in every night. My brother puts drops in every night. We're the only two.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything like that.
No.
No. But if you're caught on in time,
Only myself, wife,
What
and
concerned me was Kate and
grandchild.
Nellie
That would be
both died of cancer.
Yeah.
They said it was cancer.
yeah.
I don't know. One died in 1917, the
This
other
would
died
be
in
from Daddy's father.
1923.
Yeah.
I don't know to
And
what
those
extent
ever been
their
on
knowledge of
Katie and
cancer
Joseph.
was back then.
No, I wouldn't say too
I
much.
keep telling
I
my
would think that's
the
who
daughters,
that
you
would
know, you need to be aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only one now, my father had cancer, but he got it, but he smoked. Do you smoke?
Died away.
My dad
home.
smoked, but he died of
It must be very far
stroke.
away.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't
which
really
maybe
close.
smoking brought on the stroke.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So well, that's
Did you ever know what home that she was in that she died in?
What's that?
What
Did
house
you ever
was she
know
in?
What home?
Who?
You know that Aunt Annie and them died away in a home far away. And
No, that's not mentioned. He just wherever you could get medical.
oh, I
help
thought they
for-
died at home.
No,
Or
they
you
died
could
away
get-
in
no,
a
she
home.
died at like a convalescent home or
A
place
convalescent
where-
home and it was so far
Now,
away.
we understood that just died in Crivity, you know, where you're looking for the house.
well, the way he talks here, it's like she was at a place because she was had constant epileptic fits that were
Yeah.
very bad.
Yeah,
And he said that Lizzie was there too.
it's
but
not the
Lizzie
beginning,
came
it's
home.
not the start of the letter, so it's not. It says it's got older, they get worse.
Yeah, you said you left the first
Yeah,
page at
yeah,
home.
the front page. I thought I was bringing it, but I grabbed the.
Yeah.
grabbed
Wonder
the-
what address it would have been Crivity on it.
Yes.
It was?
Yes. No, I don't. I don't. It was.
Well, obviously it was about a
It
home.
was Crivity.
It was Crivity.
Yeah.
So that would have been the house where we were born and
Yeah.
reared in.
Yeah.
Because Daddy came to live in Crivity when he was a child.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
right.
was 1 year old, so
Now it got older, they got worse.
He was born
She was in
1910.
a home
1910.
for the last 6
probably
years.
moved to Crivity.
She died the
in-
22nd of June, aged 26
1911.
years. She died young.
Like you came when you were a baby.
Well, she died 22. Now, who was that died? Was that Nora or Annie?
See, the 1901
Well,
census.
I think it said
There was a
Lizzie
different
here. I think it says.
so then. So what's
You
that?
see, Lizzie died in
26
England.
years, was experienced her in something. Her away from home. Oh, it says.
We buried her.
Buried her in Colonus, and then
The other
the other
girl,
girlie, Lizzie, who
who?
was in the home, is
Home
Yes.
now and they're doing okay.
something is at home now and getting on fairly well.
Yeah.
And he just says he's delighted that she was going to come over, and Margaret Jane came in the 30s and brought, I think, her 2 boys with her.
You see, there was somebody came from, there was a cousin of ours who remembered, but she's now dead too. But she said they used to come once over, and she thought they were from St. Louis, and
Margaret
that
Jane is.
they got a brownie camera who's still,
That would be who he's referring to in that letter.
yeah,
Yeah, and that was
Just
See, here's
Margaret
myself
Jane
and my
here's-
wife,
that came
Yeah.
over from
my
St. Louis.
daughter
Yeah.
and granddaughter. So that would be
Yeah.
Josie and Katie.
Well, I thought in those times They were pretty well off to be able to be coming over.
She, Margaret Jane's daughter married a doctor,
Yeah,
and they were well off.
well off, yeah, because in my own mind I knew that my mother had a sister in America and she never saw her, I think it was nearly 40 years. She went over to America to see her because they were all had children and they couldn't afford, they had to get them.
Well, the crash of 29 affected everywhere,
Yeah,
but so nothing really happened till after World War II, probably into the 50s before things started booming again.
yeah,
Well, it took a war to get the economy going again.
You know.
Get a kickstart again.
Yeah.
And so the doctor's wife, Margaret Jane, the daughter, she remembers her mother. I don't know if her mother came, but she remembers her grandmother coming. Or remembers her mother talking about her grandmother coming over. But see, here's Margaret Jane. She was born 1870. She died in 1958. She married Patrick Cassidy, who was a shoemaker,
yeah,
and he died in 1930. He died quite young. And then there was George Cassidy, John Cassidy, Mary Agnes, James Mary Agnes married. I'm sorry here. She married a Cassie. Mary Frances married a Reuter, and Margaret Cassidy, who is my dad's age, married Bernard Flott. And I think it was Bernard who's the doctor
yeah.
in the 30s.
See, you have Clogher Historical. Were you down with them? Historical history.
Oh, I went there and
You saw Theodore McMahon?
No, he wasn't there.
Was
Nobody
not,
was
I
there.
think he's not well, that man.
Yeah, the lady that was there doesn't do genealogy, and it was like 10 to 1, and they were getting ready to leave. And she said, just contact these people, and she gave me some other, said, find out about his collection. He has a big collection of
Yeah,
genealogy for the area.
yeah,
But then there's, then like Margaret Cassidy, the one that, Margaret Jane's daughter, she's also Margaret Jane.
yeah.
And then there's
Oh, Margaret's not there. I was going to get her to read it.
And then this Margaret Jane Flott is she's 82, but she's our generation.
Yeah.
Margaret Jane who?
Then there's a Susan Mary.
No, it's not the flood you're thinking. What are you writing?
I'm just trying to get a basic here of the three, work out a rough sketch of the three just.
Work out a tree. He's trying to work out a tree. Family tree.
Well, here. Well, I started doing this, and it's not. That's what I know about. I know some other stuff, but that's. See, here's another thing on.
Just for start.
Yes, even Mummy's name down when she died. You really have been working.
Well, here's a chart.
That's the part of the family tree.
Hey, Dan. Do you want to scoot back just a little bit? That way.
No. There's 3 seats there. It's an awful lot to take in.
Oh, yeah.
Are you interested in all this?
I'm waiting for the big printout.
Oh, yeah.
Because we did one of those before for a family reunion that we did in Arizona.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for him to get it all in and then print out so you can actually see
You're
it.
retired, you have nothing else to do.
Well, I have lots to do, but I'm doing this too.
So your grandmother was a daughter of Patrick Boyle, all right?
Emily
Yeah.
Teresa.
Right, what's her name?
Emily Teresa.
Well, yeah. No, I think Emily is a confirmation name because on their registration that they had to do,
Mama.
the GRO information
Yeah.
is just Teresa.
Teresa, right?
And I think Emily just, she picked that name and started using it.
Right.
Not in any
Well,
of
they seem to have
records.
4 sisters in it.
Right, so your grandmother was Teresa, right? Then your mother's,
He would know.
Even though we went,
your,
we'll have to.
then your mother was a daughter of Teresa's, isn't that right?
My mother,
Was a daughter of Teresa's?
No, it's his. Because this is all on your dad's side, right?
No.
no, my mother wouldn't be in here anywhere on this tree. Let me get a form here. I got a.
Your mother was
It's
born-
all on
she's
the
in
father's side. So it's his dad's.
It's on my dad's side. Everything for the Boyles goes up my dad's side.
Right, but up your father's side.
Yeah.
Did your father marry a boy? No,
No, he married a Byrne.
he married a Byrne.
You want
Your
me to-
dad, your dad was McGuire then.
McGuire.
What
My
grade is that
grand,
for?
Edward McGuire lived on the adjoining farm to the Boyles.
Hmm?
Edward, the McGuires lived on the adjoining farm. Let me find that.
Lived beside one another, you know, the boys were here and the McGuires were there on a
Okay.
farm.
Here's Rossbrick Glib, where John and Patrick and Margaret and Emily and Nellie and Kate were born right here.
Yeah,
My father and 8 other kids were, my grandfather and 8 other kids were born right here.
Mm.
And then in 1880, the family moved to Belfast, and the women all went to work in the linen mills.
yeah,
And the men just worked as laborers. wherever they could, I
got
guess.
work, yeah.
And then, so she ended up coming to Belfast to get married, right?
Who?
Your grandfather's wife,
Teresa boy.
Teresa.
No, she went to the States. They all went to the States, and they all got married in the States.
They all got married in the States. Okay.
Yeah,
But I think
About that.
when Emily Teresa immigrated, on the ship's manifest, it says her last residence was Belfast.
yeah,
And I'm thinking that she
She probably
stayed with the
worked there.
McGuires
yeah,
overnight or a night or two until she got on the boat.
yeah. Very good.
As far as I know, the Boyles never lived in Belfast.
No. Seemingly all I ever heard was Marvedi for a townland, you know, for a place. But then when we looked, they lived in Monaghan for a while.
That's what
yeah,
Tommy said.
John Bear.
I think 2 children were born in Monaghan.
Yeah, we found that on the computer and it said 2 were born. 1 in Fermanagh and then Daddy was in Clonus.
And then we got that from Tommy,
Yeah, that's one I done out one time for him. Or Michael
because
done.
Dad couldn't find.
I had the 1911. I told him I didn't need it. I couldn't find the 1901,
Yeah.
but they must have been in Monaghan.
They were in a different address. They were in.
Yeah, that's why I rang Tommy one day and I said, where are they living? They must be gypsies because we can't find them.
See,
Well-
I made you a thing here.
And then I figured out that he married McAnally, Mary Jane McAnally, and I knew her townland was Cremeen in Monaghan. And we went into Cremeen and we couldn't, and then we found it that they were living in Drumbear, and that was very near her home place. They were living in a house.
What are you looking for?
I had some other stuff.
Don't worry, you'll find it.
I thought you actually had one of those trees with you.
Well, I did.
Is this the tree here you're looking for, no?
No, that's
No.
not a.
No, it's kind of like what he's drawing out. It
Oh,
actually.
yeah. He's into it. get on well together.
Right, here.
See, here's,
Edward.
this is my father.
That's the thing there from when I was in Drumbear.
That's when they were in Drumbear.
Yeah, that's good information.
Yeah.
But here's my grandfather. He immigrated 1892,
Yeah.
and then these are all, there's
Here's
that's
a picture.
that's Emily Teresa, Mother's Day, 1927,
Yeah. So she,
and she died in February.
she's
Following there.
she's the one that was out in St. Louis. Is
Yes.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Sister of
She
your
was
granddad,
insane.
is she?
Yeah, she's the sister of Granda McGuire's.
She's John Boyle's.
And the boy.
She's your grand.
Uh,
She's my grandmother. She's your grandfather's sister.
yeah,
Yeah.
grandfather's sister.
What's her name?
She's pretty. That's her photograph.
What's her name?
Emily Teresa.
Emily Teresa.
Right. So Grandpa had 4 sisters and what, many brothers?
He didn't have any brothers, he just had 4 sisters.
One brother,
Little brother.
Patrick,
It is
Oh, the
that.
Patrick, yeah,
but I don't know anything about him.
yeah. Oh,
No,
you'll find him somewhere, I'd
I-
say.
No, there's. I tried
Patrick was
looking
your
at
grandfather, isn't that right?
Huh?
Was Patrick your grandfather?
No.
great grandfather
Great grandfather.
and Sloey.
I can't go back.
So you must have 1,000 cousins just back over there by. It's AGH AGHADRUMSEE.
Adam say,
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a church there.
yeah,
Okay.
There's just all kinds of Sloeys buried there.
yeah.
Which way is it?
Sloey,
Slowies.
Slower.
That is a wee bit,
And that's
And-
Slower was
and those would be
Patrick Boyle's wife.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know anything about, because I can't find them. I can't really start going after the other ones. But if you look,
so did you find anybody in the Adramsey graveyard? Did you find any headstones?
That's
what I
he said.
found
You
was
find
one about a
Slower.
Patrick.
Huh?
You find one with the name of Slower.
So lots of Sloeys, but I did find
He doesn't
Patrick.
know if it's the right one.
I found Patrick McCaffrey and his wife Mary,
Yeah,
and since they lived there, I'm thinking that's their grave.
yeah.
And it's a relatively new one. It's one of the shiny black ones with
Yeah.
the angel on it.
Yeah,
There weren't any flowers. We found Tommy because there were fresh flowers on the grave.
yeah,
Got all excited.
yeah,
We saw that. Holy smokes, fresh flowers.
Yeah.
And like a day old flowers.
yeah,
So that's when we started looking harder, thinking
Yeah.
they might still be at the old place.
yeah.
I'm going to show you here. This,
Did Patrick McCarthy come back and was buried back here, was it? With my aunt Lisa?
Don't know.
that's another McGuire.
Is that whose grave he's talking about?
No,
And here's an Ellen Kieran. I don't know if she would have been just a neighbor, but she's godmother to Emily Teresa. But somewhere else here, here's like a Patrick Sloey and Elizabeth McMahon, and a Francis Sloey and a Mary Smith. There's Elizabeth Sloey, and I'm just thinking, you know, like Patrick could be Anne's
Where
brother.
those Slowies are from. There's a lot of Slowies.
Scotland.
Oh, they're from Scotland.
True. Well, maybe.
That's
The,
L-O-E-Y.
it's spelled
Not
both.
S-L-O-W.
Spelled both ways.
Mm.
Her name shows up both ways.
Both ways. Mm.
In the government records, it's just Sloey, and one would write one way, and the other one would write it the other way.
Yeah.
Did you find whole registered any bird or bird?
Can't find anything on them.
Eh?
I can't find
No.
anything on
No.
Sloey. I don't know anything at all about them. If I could find their marriage, then you have like the name of the parent, and then you could go back and find out some of these people,
Yeah.
Mm.
the name of their parents. You can find a birth registration or a marriage. And
I think you better come over here and live for a while to get all this sorted.
See, I know, but see now here's
He would like to. He was looking at all the Fourlette places
Yeah.
when we were driving around.
Yeah.
There's Patrick Boyle, who was born in 1868, and here they have the W in it there on Ross Brick, and Rose McGuire. Well, I would assume that she would be an adult, but my grandfather had a sister named Rose, so I'm thinking this Rose McGuire would have been related to my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
This person would have been a great somebody.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with Slowey. Here's a Mary Ann Slowey, Jane Sween, and Ann McDonald. Don't know. And I don't know the town lands, and they're really hard to find on the
Yeah.
map.
You need
Yeah, I can't find it.
a magnifying glass with these maps, wouldn't you, really?
Well, if you understand them, you could probably
Yeah.
find them. Same way with like the marriages. I went through these and really I thought, well, maybe I can track somebody by associating here, but there's everybody's Margaret, John, Rose, Ann. I mean, they all.
And they're the same names.
Every
But
family
now
has
there's
the
a
same
Patrick.
name.
I didn't know about a Patrick in the family, so I was always thinking John all the time, you know, because no. Well, what about your own? Your father is McGuire, so he's from Northern Ireland too.
He lives
Grandfather.
Yeah.
My
your-
father was born in the States.
Oh, your father was born in the States, but you have a McGuire connection with Ireland.
grandfather.
No,
Grandfather, I mean.
grandfather.
He left here and went to America.
Right, and married your
His boy.
great aunt,
He married three boys, is that right?
married Emily Teresa.
And they lived in the 110 land beside other
Right,
until they went to Belfast.
right. The family, the McGuires, moved to Belfast. There were 13 children on the McGuire side. 4 of them went to the States. I think one of them came back. The only 2 are my grandfather and his brother, the first brother, born in 1869. My grandfather was born in 1866. And a sister, Mary Ann McGuire. The first 3 children went to the States. Like Mary Ann, I know who she married, but I can't find anything beyond that. She married